What is going on, everybody? It's Stas here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the markets, breaking down what happened today in the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ, and we're also going to be doing a trading update, talking about what I personally did in these markets today, plus a bunch of stocks and a bunch of ETFs that I'm watching and looking to trade right now as we're slowly wrapping up the month of April here in 2020. And as always, if you guys find value in this video, feel free to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And speaking of the likes, yesterday I challenged you guys to 200 likes, and we completely blew that out of the water. I think that video yesterday hit about 280 likes, which is by far a record for the first 12 hours of a video being posted. So thanks, guys. The support has been real, and honestly, I truly appreciate every one of you that takes the time out of your day to watch the video and support the channel and just support the videos in general. It means a lot to me. And if you guys actually haven't joined the Discord chat or the Facebook group, 100% free of charge. Those are linked down below in the description box if you want to be further connected with the Strive Smart community. So without further ado, let's get right into it and start off today's video by talking about the S&P 500 a bit and breaking down some technicals here. So the S&P had a very strong day today, up $62.75, up about 2.3% on the day. And do you guys remember the level that we were talking about in yesterday's video, the 2730 level? Do you guys remember that? We actually bottomed around that point once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. 4 to 5 times is where, how many times rather we held that area. And what that told me is this is a very strong level of support. And the truth is, we already knew that was a strong level of support because judging the S&P on, let's say, this 90-day chart, you can see back in the beginning of March, we held 2730 to 40, this general area. And even a couple months before that, we held it as a support, and it was a general area of interest, making, again, 2730 right now a major level. And on the 20-day chart, with today's price action, actually on the 30-day chart, you'll be able to see it, we solidified a higher low on the S&P. So technically speaking here, the uptrend continued today. If we were to break the trend to the downside, and let's say we were testing 2680, 2650, that would not be a good sign for the bulls. But the fact that the bulls won the 2730 to 40 level, we're rallying back up, that is a good sign. But for me, guys, I'm not still at this point, I'm not extremely bullish on the markets. You know that. I'm still in the camp that we're going to see some sort of sell-off. We're still going to see another form of correction. Sure, maybe we consolidate a bit. This is another possibility here. We consolidate a bit for a couple of months, but overall, or a couple of weeks, and from there, I think the trend is going to be down at some point. I don't think this is a V-shaped recovery. And you guys know another sticking point on the S&P is the 2900, that general area. 2850 to 2900 is a struggle zone. You can see back in August to December, actually no, August to October, this was an area we held as a support. We obviously broke that area, making it a resistance, and we failed at 2860, 2870 a couple of days ago. So honestly, for me to be extremely bullish on a technical perspective, from a technical perspective, we're going to need to see a break above 2900. And until then, guys, I'm not in the camp that the S&P is flying to all-time highs again. It needs to break this level. This is a huge, huge level for the S&P. And it's going to decide the direction in the short term, because if we break to the downside here, we fail 2,900 again, we start to slope back into the 2,700s, 2,600s, that's going to be good for the bears, obviously. But if the bulls take over 2,860, 2,900, we break this 180 SMA, in the short term, we may see 33,000 S&P, 3,100 S&P. Who knows? All I know is that would be a huge break for the bulls, right? And when it comes down to the Dow Jones today, up 456 points, up about 2%. We didn't break above 24.2, which is a strong level of resistance, but we are holding 22,000, or we did earlier yesterday, I believe, 22,700. We held that as a support, and we also closed above 23,300, which is another level of support for the Dow, which is good. And a level of resistance, obviously, that I'm still watching is 24,200. And the NASDAQ here up 260 points today, up about 3.1%. It actually held its uptrend just like the S&P. We pulled down yesterday. We held the trend line here on the 4-hour chart at a higher low. And I was saying, guys, if we break that trend, there could be a lot more selling in the NASDAQ. But the fact that we held it, the uptrend is continuing. We popped up with the next resistance being around 8,800. So overall, guys, the markets today did very well. They bounced back, and the technicals are pointing to more upside. They are pointing to the uptrend at this point continuing, right? That's just the facts. You cannot really argue that. Well, I guess you can argue it a bit on the Dow Jones. The technicals aren't looking as nice, but then again, the uptrend on the Dow Jones is still continuing, so I take that back, right? S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, they are all continuing their uptrends. The technicals are pointing to more upside for now. And for the technical areas to watch, again, keep an eye out, 2,900 on the S&P, 24,500 on the Dow Jones, and for the NASDAQ, right around 9,000. These could all be some struggle areas, areas of resistance on the major markets here. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts about the markets? Let me know any thoughts you have, whether you're opposed my opinion. I'd actually love to hear your opinion if you're opposing my opinion or you're with my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that down below. So let's get into what I personally did in these markets today very quickly before we go into a bunch of stocks that I'm watching and ETFs that I'm watching and that I'm trading right now. So the first move that I made today, and again, if you guys are in the Discord chat, I post many of my moves in there, and many of the other traders and investors post their moves as well in that chat, and that is again linked down below in the description, and it's free of charge to join. So I posted a screenshot in there of Shopify, SHOP, and you guys can actually see, if I zoom in a bit on this 5-day chart, kind of exactly what I had in that screenshot earlier on in the day. I noticed how Shopify pulled down aggressively yesterday, that's no doubt about it, from 665 down to 556. And this, like I mentioned yesterday, was a much needed pull down for Shopify. So as I saw the pull down, the margin of profit opened. I started to pay attention to the stock, right? And I noticed, back to what I said a couple seconds ago, this stock was holding the trend that it began in yesterday's session. We bottomed at 556, higher low into the close at about 580, and this morning, you guys can see we popped to 630, higher high from the previous at 620. We pulled down, and what did we test? We tested that level, that trend from yesterday's latter half of the trading session, yesterday's last couple of hours of trading. And this is where I took the screenshot. I drew the wedge a little bit here, and I said, Shopify has some potential. You guys can see the arrow here. It obviously didn't play out that aggressively. If it did, Shopify would be at plus $650 per share now. But still, you guys get the point. We bottomed out on the trend line, and I ended up getting in at about $611 per share. That is where I personally filled my order. And we rallied up to 621, and I did not sell here. I was looking to see if we were going to break out, but ultimately we didn't. We actually rallied back down a bit to about $616. And at this point, I was looking at this wedge, right? We were in this wedge. Which way were we going to squeeze out? Were we going to squeeze out from the top, which would be bullish, or were we going to break to the downside, which at that point I would have locked in my profits? And the fact that we held the moving average, we broke above the wedge, that was bullish in my eyes, and I ultimately ended up holding this thing a bit longer than expected, honestly, guys, because you can see there was pure consolidation for about an hour at this point, and I ultimately just sold at $620. I put a limit order there, and I got filled about an hour into this consolidation period, about 30, 45 minutes to an hour into that consolidation period. And ultimately, although I held it a bit longer than expected, it was a pretty solid move of about 1.5%, 1.6% there. And, my goal being about 1 to 2% on these day trades, that is solid. And another play that did absolutely great today was actually my GDX call options, which I didn't buy today. I bought those last week, but they did amazing. They did so well because gold for the first point here was up $50. The gold contracts were up, or the futures rather, were up $50, nearly 3%, and GDX itself was up about 6.4%. And the options that I'm in, guys, let me pull up my notes to make sure I tell you the right ones that I'm in right now, are the August 21 calls. GDX August 21 calls, the $35 strike call options. And overall, guys, I'm actually up 40% as of right now on those call options. I bought them at about $2.40 a contract or $2.50 a contract, one of those two, and they're currently valued at about, I think, like $3.50 a contract, $3.40, something like that last time I checked. And of course, you guys can go and check what they're valued at. They're the GDX August 21st calls, $35 strike. That is what I'm currently in right now. And the fact that they expire in August makes them not that volatile now, because August is about 4 months out. So I bought the $35 calls for August to give me some of that time to put time on my side, because when it comes to options, a lot of the time, the closer options, let's say if I were to buy this Friday's calls, they might offer more potential, but the time value there it's just not there. It's a lot more risky because you have less days for the contract to expire. But now that I have 4 months out for these GDX options, they're not as volatile, but the upside, right, it's not as high, let's say, for example, as a lot of these contracts options that are closer to expiration, if that makes any sense. But either way, guys, that is what I'm doing right now. I'm in GDX calls. I did not sell those, but again, up about 40%, and that's what I did in terms of Shopify today. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts? What did you guys do? I always love hearing what you guys are doing in the market, so do not be shy. Let me know down below in the comments. Now, let's talk about some stocks that did very well today and that I'm looking to trade. And some of these I'm heavily looking to buy here, guys. So the first one is Facebook. Facebook was up a whopping $12, almost $12 today, up about 6.7%. And it's been a while. I don't really remember the last time Facebook had a day like this. Maybe back when the markets were rebounding a couple weeks ago, after the big crash in March. Maybe it had a 7-8% day somewhere in there. But either way, a very strong day today for Facebook. And this is because, and I'm reading some notes here on my phone, Facebook on Tuesday announced a $5.7 billion investment in India's Jio Platforms Ltd. The Indian tech company is part of a Reliance Industries Ltd. and has brought nearly 400 million Indians online in the past 4 years. Facebook will be its largest equity holder, or rather minority shareholder. In a statement, Facebook said its focus in the collaboration will be e-commerce, in particular by linking Jio's small business initiative with Facebook's WhatsApp. And this is to really compete directly at this point with Amazon and what Walmart is doing with, I believe, Flipkart is what it's called. So, interesting move here for Facebook. They're obviously looking in the future. They're obviously looking to see how they can expand into different massive markets like India. And I think this is a good move. And from an investor perspective, this is obviously an attractive move for the future. So kudos to Facebook for this. I think this will benefit from what it seems like on the surface here. People and investors in the future, and of course, everybody out there in India that's looking to, start a small business and benefit their small business with whatever Facebook has to offer. So that's a solid move there from Facebook, up about, again, 6.7% today, up about $11.50 here. And when we're breaking down some technicals, although it's up, again, about 7% today, there's still a lot more upside, I'd say. And mind you, they do report earnings on the 29th of this month, so be careful. Be very careful here, guys. But judging off these technicals, Facebook does seem like it has some more room to move. Maybe to the 190s, low 190s here. You guys can see that's a resistance from a couple months ago, right? And if we break that point, we might be going to 195, especially with a solid earnings report. It really does depend, in my opinion, on that earnings report. So keep an eye here on Facebook. Another stock that actually took a bit of a beating yesterday, a little bit today, but it seems like it's finding some ground at about $17, is Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. And do you guys recall how solid of a support I told you $17 is on this stock? It was initially $17.50. We broke that level, right? We broke that level to the downside, which obviously at this point makes it a resistance, right? That $17.60 to $17.70 area. And if you take a look on this daily chart, we tested it earlier this morning, but ultimately we failed pre-market at $17.70. So that's not a good sign from the bullish perspective here. But overall, what is a good sign is SPCE is holding $17 like a rock. It's not busting through that, because yesterday, well, at least now, because yesterday it held it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, $17, and today once, twice, and pretty much a bunch of times in the last couple of hours. So $17 for SPCE is huge. So from this point, as well as, the fact that it's holding this 4-hour, or rather the 1-hour 180 SMA, this could be a bottom. In the short term, that is. This could be a bottom to the point where we might be rallying in tomorrow's session. And it could go either way, right? If we break 17, we might be going straight to $16 based on this chart. But if we hold 17, guys, we might be going to $17.50, maybe even back up to $19, especially if we start to get in this area. So those are some thoughts there on SPCE. Another stock that did well today was PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL, up 7% today, up $7.65. And technically speaking here, PayPal broke out of a very major resistance, being around $112 per share. This was huge for PayPal, guys, because at this point, it has room to run, especially if it's able to break about $116. And for me, honestly, I'd like to see a bit of a pull down before we run up to test 116. So let's say tomorrow we go to 113, 112. This could be a perfect pull down opportunity, especially if the markets are continuing to push green tomorrow. Anything in the 112, 113 could be a nice entry for PayPal up to that 116 and maybe even higher if we break that level. And Snapchat, guys, they reported earnings yesterday. We saw that. I don't recall exactly what they reported. Let me see here on my phone. I have it. They actually beat on revenue, $462 million versus $431 expected. But on EPS, they actually came a bit short, 8 cents, negative 8 cents versus negative 7 cents. So based on the brief numbers there, revenue, they absolutely crushed it. And the stock today up $4.60, up 37%. So this is absolutely insane, guys. And this could be setting up as a shorts dream because this, guys, it's not going to be sustainable. Not saying that Snapchat is going to crash through the roof down to about $9-10, but do I think it's going to hold 17 and continue to go up to $20-25? Of course not. At some point, Snapchat is going to cool off, whether it's tomorrow, maybe the end of this week, maybe next week. It's coming. At some point, it's coming, and that is where shorts are going to come in and make a killing. Whether it's from $18 back down to 14, 17 back down to 13, whatever. There's going to be an opportunity where this thing ends up selling off aggressively, and there's going to be money to be made. So watch out there for Snapchat. And another one here is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is at a point where we may be breaking out. 285 is a major level of resistance. You guys can see we actually closed at $286 today on the stock. And if we zoom out a bit to this yearly chart, you can see 285 is where we failed back in the beginning of March, right? Back in the beginning of March before the big crash, that is where the stock ended up failing. So 285, I'm thinking if we break this could be a straight shot to $300 and $310, maybe even $290 in the short term. And that's a type of move that could easily be made in one day with a stock such as NVIDIA. So keep an eye tomorrow, guys. 285 to maybe, $293. That's a move that I'm looking at. Then from there, maybe 293 up to maybe $300, $305. That is very possible here for NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA. And when we take a look at the next one, AMD broke a major level of resistance today as well at $55.30. And judging on this 4-hour chart, you guys can see with yesterday's pull down, today's price action, we held $52, we broke $55, we held the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. These are all bullish signs for AMD, and now $59 is the next major level of resistance that I'm seeing, giving us a potential 5% gain here from $56 up to about $59 on the stock. And when it comes down to Netflix, you guys asked me in the comments yesterday, and I don't like giving predictions about earnings. You guys were like, hey, Stas, what do you think Netflix is going to do after earnings? And I said, I don't know. I don't like to speculate too much on earnings, but if I were to say what it's going to do, I thought it was going to go up, and I was right initially, guys. It did go up to $485 after the earnings report, but we ended up tanking through the floor today, down about 3%. We held 420 all day, and that's kind of odd because today is the 21st of, or rather the 22nd of April, which is 422. But either way, we held 420, and this could be a spot that maybe buyers start coming back in, because we can see we held 420 a couple days ago on the 17th. That level of 420 is putting us on top of this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So watch out here, guys. Some serious consolidation on Netflix. Just look for that volume spike. Look and see if buyers are coming in. This could be an opportunity, in my opinion. And we talked about gold earlier, up $50 today in terms of the futures. Insane day. That means a lot of the gold mining stocks, a lot of the gold stocks are doing great. GLD, which is not a mining stock, it's simply an ETF that tracks the price of gold, is up 2% today, up $3.12. And we talked about this yesterday being a great play anywhere from 160 up to about 165 bucks, as gold, in my opinion, has a lot of potential in the short term here to move up to 1800, 1900. I can definitely see it happening. So GLD over these next couple of days, I'm extremely bullish on it. I might day trade it tomorrow. We'll see. But anyway, in the 160s, I see potential. And some of these other gold stocks, gold, Barrick, ticker symbol GOLD, did very well today, up about 7%. FNV, Franco-Nevada, was up about 4.5%. NEM, Newmont Corporation, up about 4%. And a lot of these stocks are actually in the GDX ETF that, again, I have long, I'm long via call options, in GDX. And DAL, before we wrap up the video, DAL, Delta Airlines, they just reported earnings just now. Let's take a look at what they reported. I saw a negative 71-cent number there. That is not good. But either way, let's take a look. Not really seeing it here. But either way, Delta, they're not looking too solid. And obviously all the other airlines are reporting. A lot of the main ones are reporting this week. So you got to keep an eye out on those, as well as AT&T and Verizon. Both of them are reporting this week. AT&T actually reported this morning. Let's take a look on the live news tab. What did they do? EPS came in at 63 cents versus 56 cents, so they beat a bit there, but their revenue did not beat. It came in at $42 billion versus the $44.2 billion. So AT&T down about 40 cents here, down about 1.3% on that miss in terms of earnings. So overall, guys, those are a bunch of stocks that I'm watching as of right now. Excuse me, almost let off a burp there. Sorry, guys. But yes, those are a bunch of stocks that I'm watching right now and that I'm looking to trade. What are you guys watching? I would love to know. Let me know down below in the comments. And that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Hit that like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see further content like this. And if you guys actually want some free money, you can use my affiliate link down below with Webull. You can actually get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 into the account and you get those 2 free stocks. And again, that is linked down below in the description box. And if you do use that link, it actually supports me and all the free content that I'm putting up here on YouTube. And I really do appreciate you guys if you do use that link. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there as all this craziness is going on. It's going to be over soon, guys. We just have to push through it. Stay safe. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.